Hi everybody, if you can just let me know if you can hear me, I would appreciate it. I'm just joining you in the comments so I can see what everybody is saying. Ah, there we are. Hi Tanya. I'm assuming everyone can hear me. Hi Carol. Hello Tracy, Susan, Caroline. So nice to see all of the familiar faces in the comment section. Okay, so I have confirmation that you can hear me. So while we wait for everybody to join, I will just show you. Oh, my color on my screen just went a little weird, but it's fine. So we will be making a letter. So it is a 3D letter. There it is. And these are great for centerpieces for tables or for kids' bedrooms. This one will be going to my daughter's teacher, so her classroom decor is racing. Obviously her name is Mrs. Hussein, and so I've added the name. So if you want to do a full word, you can obviously do that. I don't want to do full words, I just want to do the initial, and that's why I've added the name onto it. So these are actually a lot easier than they seem. You can find the bases on Design Space. I will show you. Oopsie, we just got to get it to stand. There it is. So I will show you how to find them and obviously how to personalize them to your needs. Hello everybody that is joining. I'm super excited to see so many familiar faces and some new ones. So I will not be making this exact design tonight. I'm going to be doing a letter R, but the basis is the exact same for all of them, and I will make the race car one public. So I have actually already made it public. If you would like to make it, you are more than welcome to edit it to your needs. Hello everybody. So I see we have a lot of people that have joined, so I'm going to jump into it. As always, this class is proudly sponsored by Cricut and Logitech, so let's jump into it. So I must just say most of our classes are planned around our weekly challenges. If you haven't joined any of the weekly challenges, they are loads of fun. It's not about skill, it's about creating something that makes you proud. It doesn't have to be a multi-layered project. It can be a very simple project. It's just something that you can be proud of, and it's a good way to explore the different capabilities of your machine and become more comfortable with it. So I'm just going to start on my profile. If you haven't joined a class before, all of the designs that we do in the class, I do make them public, and you will see they've got the class visuals, so it is easy to find. So if you'd like to make the letter H, here it is, obviously with the race car design on it. We are going to be making a letter R. So if you scroll down to the bottom, what you'll see here is that something on my screen? Sorry, I'm just seeing something here. What is that? Oh, it was somebody's status that was showing over the screen. So if you scroll down to the bottom of a project, you will see where the project was, or what other project it was inspired by. So this is the original project. If we click on it, you can see that there's two different styles that she released or created, and you can actually click on her profile. So this is an absolutely amazing designer. I absolutely love her projects. She is a Cricut contributing artist, So if you click on her shared projects, you'll see she has a load of 3D projects, lots of different ones. She has loads and loads of letters. So this is definitely one that I would recommend. It's not too complicated, as you're going to see. So we will be doing the letter R, which is this one. And I'm just going to show you, so I've obviously already designed it, and we will go into that design so you can have a look, but I'm just going to show you what it would look like once you open it. So here you have an outline, and then here you have a solid piece. So this is going to be what you put on the front. So you're going to choose if you want that one or if you want that one. So this is going to be your solid 3DR. You're going to have your back piece, your front piece, and your little pieces that connect it all together. So let me just check. I just want to confirm if we bring this to the front. Yes, so this could actually be your acetate piece, or if you want to do it like I've done it, it can be your little offset piece. So that is going to be the base design that you're going to work with. Now the only thing I did to change this design is I increased the size. So the bigger your design is, the easier it's going to be to work with, because obviously you're going to have little folds that you have to stick, so the bigger it is, the better. So if you want to resize it, what you're going to do is you're going to select everything in the design and you're going to resize it all together. So I just go with any size, and then what I do is I click on the individual pieces. So remember, on a 30 by 30 mat you are getting 29.5, or is it 29.2? I can't remember the exact one right now. I think it's 29.5. I think that's the biggest that you can do. So what you need to do is make sure that none of your pieces exceed that size. Oh, so let's just make sure. You can see it's going a little bit wonky. So we want to know, oopsie, Control Z. So what we want to do is we just want to make sure that none of the pieces are bigger than what our mat would allow. My design space is being a little bit wonky at the moment, which is not fun. But lucky for us, I planned and I've actually pre-cut everything, but we will still go through the process. Okay, so we're going to revert back to my design so that we can have a look at that one that I've already resized. So I have it over here, and we're going to say customize. So I will make this design public once the class is done and I've taken a photo of it. This is my first time making the letter R. So let's just move this aside, and then let's move that aside. Okay, so this is the design that would be on your canvas. Obviously, if you deleted the offset that was there and the little acetate piece, it's completely up to you. If you want to use those pieces, you can. If you want to have like a window type of box, it's completely up to you. So what you're going to do is you're going to duplicate this. So it's important to remember that all of the pieces that you're seeing, that is essentially the back of the letter. So it's going to have writing on it. The front is going to be the opposite side of it. So for the purpose of designing, what I'm going to do is I'm going to flip this so that it's the right way, and then I'm going to add offsets. So we go to Effects, Offset, and I'm going to add a negative offset because I want it to sit inside of it, which you'll see what I mean. And so we're going to say 0.2. Let's go 1, actually -1. Let's see how that looks. It's a little bit big. Let's go 0.5. So this is like a by eye thing. There is no, oopsie, there is no specific size that you have to use. It's whatever looks good to you. So it's 0.5 and apply that. What I'm going to do then is I'm going to add another offset. So this is going to give me that double look. I don't know what else to call it. And we're going to apply that. So then what you can do is, if you would like to visually see your item, you can leave the blue piece at the back. Otherwise you can delete it. You're not going to need it. So what I did is I changed the second layer, so that's this back layer, and I made that on both of them. I made it a contrasting color. So on the black one I chose red, and on the blue one I'm going with like a mirror sort of goldy look. And then what I did for the front one is I actually kept it the same color as the rest of the cardstock. So I kind of had it like that. And then I can use this to complete my design. So I have a visual representation of what the end design is going to be. So this one was very easy. I decided to go with, well, I didn't decide, my daughter decided she would like mermaids. So it was a very easy design to do. So under designs, I went for, I think, mermaid tail. So if you're just joining, you can always rewatch the recording after the class. It'll be available on the Cricut South Africa YouTube under the live tab. So you haven't missed much. We've just started designing, but if you would like to go back and watch the beginning, you can do so. So here it is here, the design that I'm using. Really simple. So this is a nice layered design, and that makes it really, really easy for me. And then I'm going to add an offset again. So with this offset, I want it to be the same as this little outline so that it gives it some contrast. Ties it all together at the same time. 0.5, I think that's going to be too big. So if you have a look at what I've done, I've used quite a big offset for the letter because it is very big. And then for the smaller things, I've used a smaller offset. So obviously the smaller the item, the smaller the offset's going to be. There it is there. And then what I decided to do, so let's just move that down slightly. That'll be fine there. Is I wanted to add obviously the name in because I'm not going to make a whole letter, sorry, a whole word. I'm going to just be doing one letter. So I decided to add in the wording that I wanted. So for this one, we went with Riley. And we're going to turn that. So if you hold down the shift key, then let's just move it out the way so we're not selecting the wrong thing. So if you hold down the shift key, you can see it turns quite nicely. So you don't have this like free movement. It moves in increments, if you will. So you can see there. Nice and easy. So we're just going to resize that. I think my sizing is a bit off, but it's fine. We're going to be using the original design. And again, anything goes. It's completely up to you. If you would like to have a huge name on the side, completely up to you. So for this, I went with a nice flowy font. And we have to make that a bit bigger. And we're just going to zoom in just to make it a bit easier to see. Okay, so what I like to do with really thin fonts, we need to be mindful of the limitations of our machine. So while they are miracle workers, they are not miracle workers. You have to obviously work within the limitations of each of the different machines. So what I like to look at is these really tiny lines. I like to try and think about how that's going to cut once we get to that point. So if it is too thin, it's going to end up shredding your vinyl. It's not going to look nice. So to counteract that, what I do is I add an offset. If you can tell, my favorite feature is in fact offset. So here it's hidden under there, effects, offset. And for this, I'm going to go with a really, really tiny offset. So I want to thicken the font, but I don't want to lose the definition. If I thicken it too much, then all of the holes are going to close up and it's not going to look like that nice flowy font. So I usually go 0.015 to about 0.018. So let's see, 0.018. We'll see how that looks. Looks good. And I know it seems like it doesn't make a difference, but it really does when it comes to cutting. So you can see the difference already in the thickness of the little pieces that come off of it. So we can get rid of that and then obviously change this color. So here I'm going to be adding vinyl directly onto the cardstock. Oh, so I see Kim says that Emily just looked at her phone and asked her to make her whole name like that. And I love that because Emily has a really short name, so I don't see why you shouldn't do that. So I'm advocating for that, definitely. Okay, so that is most of the design done. The only other thing I did is I wanted to have a sort of sand effect at the bottom of the R, just to give it that beachy look. So because I'm going to be slicing so that I can obviously get the perfect shape, I'm going to duplicate this. So I just want the one that's going to be on the front, and then I'm going to look for beach sand. So Kim made some really cute daisy decor ones, and I'm just seeing Emily's name with daisies and pretty things, and I'm very excited to see it. Okay, so I think I went with this. So what I was looking for is something that wouldn't just be a straight line once I sliced it, because that's not going to give it the, beachy feel. So I think I went with this. And then also what I want is I wanted to make sure that where it runs over, it is not going to leave too many gaps, because you obviously don't want too many gaps. That's not going to be cool. So there, and then select both of them, and we're going to slice. We can delete that. We can grab that. That will go there. Delete that and delete that. So remember, that's my other design. We will come back to that. And we can just align it so it's visually pleasing, and we're going to move it behind our layered mermaid. There we are. So I think with the mermaid I actually slightly moved it to the side, but it's completely fine. I think I had it like that. Okay, so that is our basic final design. The only thing you have to remember at this point is to delete this back one, because you don't need it. That's obviously already over here. So this is what you're going to stick on top of it. I don't think I needed that. No. Okay, so you can see I have two of the same designs. The only differences I made was I changed the colors slightly. Maybe I should have stuck with the previous colors because they are pretty cute, but I like the new colors. So one of the things I looked at when I was looking at designs, and it is a very difficult lesson that I had to learn with the H. So you will have to create your layers with some of the images, and the way you're going to do that is by using offset. So it's really simple, but if you can find something like this mermaid tail, so we're just going to get rid of this quickly. We don't need it anymore. We've got it here. So I'm going to duplicate that so I can take it apart and show you. So if you can find a design like this, it is going to make your life a lot easier. So I see some people are saying the comments are not showing up. I do apologize. Facebook seems to be a little bit glitchy. So as I'm watching on my phone so that I can see the comments, I'm actually seeing somebody's story showing up across the screen. So I panicked and I actually thought it was my laptop. So usually what you can do is you can just close Facebook and come back on, and then it works. Okay, so if I take this apart, you can see that it has solid layers, and that's going to help you a lot with your layering. So you're going to get a nice 3D effect with it. So if you can find a design like this, it's going to make it a lot better for you. So I really love that. Sorry. With the H, I actually had to build my layers, and there's only so many offsets you can have before it starts to look a little bit tacky, if you will. Okay, so now we're going to say make it. So remember, I like to cut my cardstock on mirror. This will cut on mirror without me selecting mirror, if that makes sense. So we are cutting it with the back side up, so it's technically on mirror. So to avoid having people have to press mirror, the designer just flipped everything and then added in all of the wording, etc. So I have taken this and I've made it the right way around. So if I have a piece that is going to cut on that cardstock, I have to make it the wrong way around so that it cuts in mirror without me pressing mirror. It's very confusing, but once you've done it a couple times, it's not as confusing as it sounds. I'm seeing that there are challenges floating around in the comments. So again, if you haven't entered, this week is all about birthdays, and these letters are absolutely perfect for that theme. So there's my little nudge. If you're just joining, we've already done our design. I'm just now going onto the Make It screen. You can rewatch the live on the Cricut South Africa YouTube channel under the live tab if you've missed anything. Okay, so all of the cardstock, we're going to cut it on mirror. And the reason we're going to do that is because we want it to cut from the back, so that if there's any nicks, it's going to be on the back side of our cardstock and not the front. So that's how you're going to get the cleanest cut. So for this, it would be mirror. So for this one, I've decided, because of how delicate it is, remember I've already cut this, because of how delicate it is, it's really, really difficult to do it on cardstock. So instead, I'm going to use vinyl. So I'm going to change this. So remember, if you're on your Make It screen and you've got something on the wrong canvas, you can actually just click on these little three dots and you can move it around. So you say move object and you can move it to another canvas. So I'm going to cut both of these out of the same vinyl. This is going to be exactly what it is, and I'm just going to get good use of my space. That's going to be mirrored. This is going to be our gold, and that is going to be mirrored. So all of the ones that are the normal cardstock pieces, those are all going to be mirrored. With this one, we cannot mirror it. So we need it to be able to write. If we mirror it, then our letter is not going to come out right. So we're not going to mirror that. For this one, we're not going to mirror it either. For this one, we're not going to mirror it. For this one, we can. So if you saw I had a little piece here, I'm going to move it to the one that I can mirror the object. Let's move that. I know it feels a little bit confusing, but again, once you've done it a couple times, it will become very easy. So this can be mirrored, this can be mirrored, and then all of the rest can be mirrored. So the only ones you are not going to mirror is if it is vinyl, because vinyl has to cut the right way up, and if it has writing on it. So you need the pen to be able to write on the opposite side of the cardstock, not on the side that you're going to be displaying. Okay, so what you're going to do then is you're going to say continue. We should probably put my machine on. Oh wow, I see that Lego will be giving a live class. I'm very excited for that. I'd love to know when that is. I'll definitely be joining. Okay, so we're connected. So for all of this cardstock, I used the medium cardstock setting. So I'm using AC cardstock. I used a lot of offcuts for it. The only thing that I did differently, so let me just show you quickly. So I did not have a mirror cardstock. So what I did is I added vinyl onto cardstock. So this is Cricut's foil vinyl. It's absolutely stunning. So I added this onto normal AC cardstock, as you can see, and then I cut this one on a higher setting. So that, because you're cutting through vinyl and cardstock, you will have to do that on a higher setting. So just be mindful of that. So for that one, I used craft board, and then for all the others, obviously barring the vinyl, I used the medium cardstock setting. So we're going to cut this one. I have pre-cut most of the stuff just to try and speed up the class, because it is quite a labor-intensive cutting process. So you can see I have, for this one specifically, 15 mats. Even though they're small cuts, it does take quite a bit of time to get it done. So what I would suggest is, if you were doing this for a child's party and you were making, let's say, 5 centerpieces, I would put them all onto the same canvas, and then when you say make it, you will have pieces that will merge onto the same mat, and it's going to make your cutting time a lot quicker. So we're going to say medium cardstock. You can see that it wants a black pen. We're not going to use black. So we're using blue cardstock. We're going to use a blue pen. It's also asking for the single scoring wheel, and then once it's done with the scoring and the pen, it's going to ask me for the fine point blade. So if you don't have a scoring wheel, you can say edit tools and you can change to your scoring stylus. We're going to use that though. Okay, so I've got normal AC cardstock. So this is textured. So the one side is very textured and the other side is less textured. So I prefer to have the very textured side showing up or outwards on my project. So because we are writing on this side, and that's going to be the inside, that means my textured piece needs to go down on the mat. I wouldn't stress myself out too much. If it doesn't make a difference to you, then honestly, just put it anyway. What I do find though with the little elements, if I have all of them with the textured side as the side that should face me, it makes it easier for me to put everything together. So then what I'm going to do, so these are the dual-sided markers. So one side is a 1mm and the other side is a 0.4mm. You can see there are 20 different amazing colors. You get it for the Cricut Joy, which would be for the Joy Extra and the Joy, and you get it for the Maker and the Explore series. So you can see there's a load of beautiful colors in there. I'm going to look for a color that is slightly darker than my cardstock. So I've already tested it. I know this one. Also remember, if you have any questions, if we're moving a bit fast, if there's something you're stuck on, you're more than welcome to drop your questions in the comments, and if I don't get to it, then one of the lovely admins definitely will. Oh no, we have a hair, a rogue hair. That's okay. So what I do is I just test it. So what I'm testing for is I want it to be visible, but I don't want that to go through my cardstock, so that once my design is assembled, I have numbers poking through. So if I used a black pen on this, I would probably see that. So we're putting our pen into clamp A, and then I'm putting my scoring wheel into clamp B. So I absolutely love these pens. Kim says it's her favorite pen set, and I would love to agree, but I'm about to show you my absolute favorite pen set, and it was perfect for the black cardstock. So with the black cardstock, I mean, what are you going to use? It's not going to show up. Did I press that? I pressed that now. So it's not going to show up. Oh no, where is it? I've put it somewhere. Oh no. So I had my favorite pen set somewhere, and I've put it somewhere. So the acrylic gel pens, just acrylic pens. The Cricut acrylic pens are absolutely amazing. With them being acrylic pens, they write on black. So they write on black cardstock. So I think it was Nadia that actually did a Easter bag using them. I'm still searching for my pens because what? Where have they gone? This is terrible. So she did a design on a black bag and it looks gorgeous. So the acrylic pens can write on glass, wood, cardboard, plastic. They are absolutely amazing. Well, they were when I could find them. But all of these items, if I'm not mistaken, are available on Takealot and www.secretsale.co.za. So the secret sale has some amazing items and the prices are equally good. So if you haven't checked them out, you definitely should. Oh no, I dropped everything. Okay, so while that cuts, so this is something that I do to make my life a bit easier. We can move those. So I cut my items and then I just keep them in an ice cream dish and then everything's there. I'm not going to lose anything. So I've pre-cut some of the items so that, well, I've pre-cut everything so that we don't run over too much because I know it can be labor intensive. So I thought I would get a bit of, I would get ahead of it. I think that's what you say. Okay, so this is EVA foam. So I don't have many colors left. I just want to see where it is. Okay, EVA foam is craft foam. That's literally what it is. So that's one that for some reason is stuck together. And then what I've done is I've applied die cut and bond, which is basically a really thin double-sided tape. I've applied it to both sides, and this is what I use instead of double-sided foam tape squares. So the reason I love this is EVA is relatively cheap. Die cut and bond is a little bit pricey, but with how much use you get out of it, it works out really, really cheap. So I think a roll lasts me probably a year, which is really good value. Now what I like about it is that I can actually theme the colors. So if I'm working on, okay, I know it's not blue because I don't have blue, but if I had blue, I could use blue in between the blue layers, etc. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut some strips from it. And I'm going to use these to start layering the front piece. So I just want to show you, here you can see I've put double-sided tape foam squares between each of the layers, and this is what I meant about choosing a design wisely. So this looks fun and it's gorgeous, but I had to weed obviously each of the pieces individually. So the first time I cut it out of cardstock, and then I would have had to stick each of these little blocks individually, so I scrapped it and then I went in for the vinyl. So yes, even people that have been doing this for a very long time have to recut, and it's completely fine. It's not the end of the world. We live, we learn, and we get better next time. Okay, so what I did here is I placed it semi to the center, or semi to the inside. So here, instead of sticking it right on the edge, I will stick it more on the inside. So you can see my machine has stopped, it's flashing, and what it wants me to do is it wants me to swap to my fine point blade. And then just because I love my pens and I don't want them to dry out, I'm going to put that back, and then we're going to press that. Okay, so the reason I put it semi to the center is when you look at the design, you're not going to be looking at it like that. You're going to be looking at it from the front and from the edges. So if I have it more towards the center, there's less of a chance of you actually seeing those pieces. And as you can see, it doesn't need to be perfect pieces. I mean, they're hidden away. It is what it is. And then for here, we can just cut smaller pieces. Oopsie, I lost one. Okay, so that's cut. I will check it now. Let's just move that so it's less visually overwhelming. And then we're just going to take a little piece. So you also don't have to layer it all over. There's going to be pieces that are going to hold it up, support it, if you will. So Kim says the tip with the EVA foam saved her this weekend when her roll of thick double-sided tape finished. So what actually inspired me to go this route is, number one, I love those rolls that you can get with the pre-cut squares, but with that I would have had to use quite a few squares here, and they're not the cheapest. Yes, I know this is pink and not blue, so they're not the cheapest. They are really nice to have, and they do make it a little bit quicker, but I also couldn't always find them. And then when I bought rolls of normal double-sided tape and I had to cut it, my scissors would get wrecked. So I didn't like that. With this, it does not wreck your scissors. So you can see I'm just centering that nicely and placing that on top. That looks really pretty. So this is the vinyl that I've stuck onto cardstock, so I just choose the color that I like the least and then I stick the vinyl onto it. So if you don't have a certain color, it's completely fine. If you have the vinyl, you can stick it onto the cardstock and there you've got the color. Okay, so we're just going to cut some more quickly. Yep, that will stay long. Okay, so I'm just doing the same thing. I'm sticking it more towards the center. I'm kind of spacing them out a little. Oopsie. And we just need one more little piece to support the bottom, and then we're done with that piece. There we are. Okay, so that is ready to be assembled once we get to that point. So I'm going to stick that aside. Okay, so this is done. I have cut. So what you should always do, especially if you are a newer user or you are using a material that you haven't used before, always test your material. Make sure that it's cut through. If it's cut through, you can unload. If it did not cut through, then you will need to press the go button again. So if you're doing something that has writing, you obviously don't want it to write again, so you're just going to leave your pen out of that. You will have to score again, and then it will recut for you as well. So to remove the cardstock from the mat, I'm going to roll the mat away from the cardstock. You don't want to bend your mat, you just want to kind of roll it. If you bend it, there is a chance it's going to snap. So just be gentle. I know it doesn't look like I'm being gentle, but I am. Okay, so those are our connecting pieces. So this is going to be the sides and the center pieces. Oopsie. And then we're just going to cut one more piece. So remember, because I'm doing it the opposite way, I've got writing on one side, I'm going to have my rough side facing downwards. rough side, textured side. So if you're using an older mat, then I definitely do recommend using the brayer, especially with cardstock. It's going to adhere it nicely to your mat and you're going to get a much better cut. So Candace has just joined us. If you've also just joined us, you can always rewatch the live class on the Cricut South Africa YouTube channel. So all of our past live classes are there. We have beginner classes, we have intermediate classes. I think we even have some pro classes in there. There's a lot of different projects that we've done, and in every class there's loads of tips and tricks to help you. So even if you are a beginner, don't feel intimidated by the intermediate classes. Join in. I'm sure there'll be tips and tricks that you can use even with beginner projects. So we're going to put in our pen again, which I think I put away. Did I? A little bit. Oh no. I loved my pen so much I lost it. What? Oh no. Why? This is terrible. How did I do that? If anybody saw where I put my pen, please shout, because wow, I just lost my whole pen. Okay, so we will use another color. Maybe that is the point. Oh wait, it's on my lap. I found it. So for those who are just joining, you're actually here at the best part. So we've done the design. I'm just busy cutting 2 small elements and we're busy assembling everything. So you're actually here for the best part. Okay, so while that's cutting, I'm going to put this aside and we're going to start assembling these pieces. So remember, this is our beach sand, if you will. So for this, I just want to have 2 small pieces of EVA. So with this, for me, the wow factor is going to be the different layers and the sort of 3D effect that's going to go with it. So remember what I was saying with having all of them with the textured side being the side that's going to face me. It makes it easier because I don't need to now test it against the cardstock, see if I've got the right side. I can just look for which is the textured side, and then I know that that is the one that needs to face the front. Okay. So you've seen it's really simple to draw and cut with your machine. These designs are not hard at all. Not at all. And you're just going to follow that process for everything that you cut, all the cardstock that you cut. It is super, super simple. Wherever possible, you're going to cut it on mirror so that if there's any pieces, so I don't know if you can see this, but over here there's like a little nicked piece. So that is the back of the cardstock and the front looks absolutely perfect. So that's why I like to do everything on mirror. I'm just going to cover this. Okay, so we're going to put that aside. We're going to continue assembling. So this is going to be our sand. And you can use your Cricut tweezers to help you if you need to, like so. So Roseanne said that my pen is hiding from me. It's scared of being overworked. It's completely possible because I've lost an entire pack of acrylic pens, so it's not that far-fetched. I think it sensed me getting a bit excited and decided to make a runner. So there you can see it's got sort of a 3D effect. Sorry. And that's giving it like the beach sand kind of vibe. Okay, so what you do when you're layering these is you're going to work from the back one forward. So the reason you work from the back one forward is, for instance, if I have this purple one and then I put glue all over it and I try and put this one on, it's going to have pieces with glue showing through. So that's our really back piece. I'm going to put that aside, and I'm going to start gluing and layering all of these pieces. So some of them I'm going to glue and some of them I'm going to use the EVA. So I'm going to have like, what do we call it? Variations? I don't think that's the word. I really don't think it is. So how I usually decide this is I look at the really tiny pieces that are there. So for instance, to put EVA anywhere here is going to be super difficult, and then you're going to have half of this layer that is standing out 3D effect, and you're going to have a piece that kind of sinks in. Okay, so we do just want to line this up nicely. Okay, we're just going to make sure everything's aligned. So I'm just using my fingers to press on the edges. Let's get rid of that because that's visually disturbing. Let's do this, okay, because we're working on them. So we'll put them there. Okay, perfect. Now for this one, I think this one I'm also going to stick flat. Reason being, I wanted to cover the purple pieces. So again, this is completely up to you. This is just how I'm doing it. There's no manual that says you have to do it this way. There's no manual that says you can't have, you know, the purple popping out from the red. I just decided I don't want that. So, whoopsie, that's what I'm doing. Okay, so we're just lining it up nicely. Oopsie. So you can see here, it's a little bit harder to line up. So I'm just going to get my tweezers to help me. Still super cute though. Okay, now I want to have a layer here that is 3D. So I'm just going to cut a whole bunch of these. Oopsie, losing some. Okay, so we have a whole bunch. So they're ready. Okay, I do need some smaller pieces just for the little balls that are on the edge. So we are going to go slightly over, but I am trying to keep it as short as possible. Obviously, I don't like to go too much over with time. I know everybody's got families that they have to attend to. So Tanya says that the colors give her Little Mermaid vibes. I love that. I honestly don't know where the mermaid theme came from. But she was like, hey, I want mermaids, and I was like, ma'am, your wish is my command. Whatever you say, I'll do it. So that's how we got here. But I love that. Yes, Little Mermaid vibes. So you can already see, I don't know if you can see it on camera, but there's already such a nice 3D effect to it. So definitely alternate with your EVA foam or your, whatever you call them, double-sided foam tape squares. And you can see I'm just layering them, trying to get them as perfectly layered as possible so that we don't have edges sticking out. That one's a little bit sticking out. Here we are. And I'm just going to keep doing that for all of them. So you can see that these two layers are the same. So for the center, I know I can stick that there. For the little bubble piece, I have to be a little bit more mindful because there's a little hole. So for that one, I'll stick it here. There we are. Oopsie. Make sure everything's nicely aligned. So I don't know if you can see that yet. It's really difficult to see on the camera, but it's getting a nice little 3D effect to it. I think someone should package all these things like the glue. I can't see that. I can't see that comment, but I feel like it's an interesting one. I do feel like it's an interesting one. Oopsie. Okay. Again, just make sure. So I'm using my fingers on the edge of the cardstock just to make sure everything's aligned nicely. This one is going to go onto one of these pieces. This one goes there. Any more little pieces? We're almost there with this one, and then I will show you the assembly of the letter, which is obviously what everybody came for. And again, I have cut and I've started to assemble, so we're going to try and keep within the time frames of the class as best as possible. I do apologize if we go slightly over. So with this one, I don't actually want to, I've just seen, I don't want to put it behind here because we've got holes. If I put this behind it, it's going to show through, and that's not going to be pretty. So there we are. Then this needs to be stuck on. So we're just going to glue that on quickly. I'd love to know, have you, anybody, made 3D cardstock items before? Have you used any of the Design Space designs to make 3D cardstock items? I think we all went through a phase where we absolutely loved that little fox, and it always looked like it was so intimidating, but as you will see once we get there, the designs on Design Space are really, really simple to use actually. Okay, so we're just going to stick this on like so. Stunning, stunning, stunning. So that is super thick. It actually stands all on its own. So I would love to see this upscaled into an actual like centerpiece. This on its own could be a really cool centerpiece. Just a thought. So let's just clear that out. Okay, so I'm just going to stick this onto the backing. And again, we are adding layers because layers are beautiful. I just want to see that's a little bit big. I have little pieces, I have little tape covers all over my floor. Yeah, fun, fun, super fun. Oopsie. Okay, so now we're just going to place this like so. Oh, we seems a bit off. Seems a little bit off. Oh, it's fine. It's completely fine. She'll love it. There it is. So that is ready to go. The only thing I need to do is add our little piece there. So I'm going to very quickly weed our vinyl here so that we can stick that. So if you were in the last class that I did, you would see that I had this really cool vinyl hack. It was really cool. I'm not doing it today though. So if you want to see that, definitely go and have a look at that class. I was mind blown. Yeah. Oh, Natalie says that I've just given her an idea for the baby shower that she's busy with, and I'm super excited to see. Natalie makes the most amazing things. Very creative. But I think that is a lot of the people within our community. I think that's probably one of the things that makes our little Cricut community so amazing is the different ideas and how everybody comes together. And I love seeing it. I love seeing all of the creativity. I think it's one of my favorite things when I see people posting on the group. I love seeing how different people interpret the different things or the different challenges. Let's say it like that. Okay, so we are just going to, let's see if we got enough space here. Okay, so we're just going to transfer this very quickly, and then we're going to start assembling our letter. So this is StandardGrip transfer tape. I think in the last class I also did mention you never ever want to use strong grip transfer tape on cardstock. You never want to do that. You will rip your cardstock. So StandardGrip is the way to go. Okay, so this was actually my little trick. Let's see if we can do it. I don't know if I can because I've made this really small, but let's see. So you're going to hold your tool down. What's this? Scraper. Oopsie. And then you kind of just pull this. So you're going to pull it tight against the scraper like so. Yeah, not working with this one. Okay, well you can go and rewatch my video last class. Why is this one not transferring? I might be using an old piece of tape. Okay, so I do just want this for now. So Terry says that she's ordered her first machine. Yay! Congratulations. She is starting off with the Cricut Joy Extra Bundle. So that is an amazing machine. I've actually got one. They are great. I don't know why this doesn't want to transfer. I might have cut it a bit deep. There, oops. I think we all remember getting our first machine and the absolute excitement. So whenever I see somebody, oopsie, this was cut the wrong way. Was it? I think it was. Oh no. Okay, we're going to recut that, not now, after the class. Because yeah, I'm not sticking that on wrong. This is frustrating. Oh, there we are. I think we've all had this day. It's because I'm trying to rush. It is because I'm trying to rush. Yeah, so the 3D letters are super quick to make. And I have actually started assembling it so that if we started running out of time, which I kind of thought we would, then I would be able to show you the fundamentals and we would be able to finish it off together. So I tried to think ahead. There we are. Oops, here we lost our a dot, it's fine, I will add it. Okay, so when you're adding your vinyl to your cardstock, you don't want to press down too hard, so you're not going to use your scraper, you're just going to use your fingers. So we're going to have it like that, and you're going to rub down where the vinyl is. So you're not just going to scrape all over, because that's going to make it super difficult for you. There it is there. And then last but not least, our little R. And now we're going to get on to assembling our letter, which is super easy. Okay, so the most important thing when you're working with cardstock or with 3D objects is you need to understand that there are two different ways of folding. So there's a mountain fold and there's a valley fold. So whatever design you're using on Design Space, it's usually a little circle. So if you look at it, can we see it? There's little circles. Oops, wait, there. So those circles represent a valley fold. So a mountain fold is a normal fold. A normal fold is the fold that is inwards towards your numbers. So a valley fold is going to be the opposite. So you're going to fold it outwards. So when you look at it from the right side, a mountain goes up and a valley goes down. So with this, everywhere that you see this circle, so again, there's your circle, you're going to fold it away from the writing. Everywhere that there is no circle, you're going to fold it towards the writing. And you're going to complete that for all of them. So I'm going to start with number 2. No. Okay. So here is number 1. You can see there's a big 1 on it, which means that's going to be your first piece you're going to work with. Then you're going to have number 2, and that's going to be your second piece that you're going to work with. And then you're going to have number 3, and that's going to be the third piece that you're going to work with. So I'm going to show you these, and then we're going to move on to the one that I have already started working with. So again, anywhere that there's a circle, fold away from the numbers or away from the writing. Anywhere that there is no circle, okay, so all of those have circles. So these we're going to fold towards because there's no circles next to them. No circles, no circles, no circles. So those are all going to be towards. So as you can see, that's our piece, and that's going to go in the center. So if you have a look at here, there's an A, and there's also an A here. So you're going to match that up. So we're going to grab our glue, and we're going to put some glue on the little flap by the A. Okay, so what I find helpful is if I work in folds. So what does that mean? If there's a fold, then I fold it like that. So I'm not going to keep it straight out like that. If I have it as a fold, it helps me to place it better. So here's our A and here's our A. I'm going to fold it so that it works around the little hole, like so. Make sure that everything's aligned nicely. And then I'm going to stick that down. So I have my first piece down, and then what I can do is I can go around, put a bit of glue here, obviously not too much. You want to use a good glue that you don't have to saturate your paper with, because if you have to saturate your paper, you're going to ruin your design. It's going to start warping. There we are. Make sure everything's aligned, and we're going to press that down nicely. So what I'm doing is I'm just looking in the little hole, making sure that all of my corners match up. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to put glue on the flap. And like that. Okay, so that's your first one done. Obviously just make sure it's stuck. So that's another thing, you don't want to put too much glue because then it's going to take a long time to dry. So here I'm just going to show you one more here. Well, let me jump over to the other one. Okay, so this one B, you would start here. Remember, work in folds. So we're going to jump over to the one that I've already been working on, obviously because we're running out of time. So you can see I've left the last one. Everything is stuck. It's looking good so far. Now we just need to do the last one. So on the edge you will see here, there's like a little symbol there, and on the next piece there's a little symbol there, so you know that those two pieces go together. So we're going to stick that. Okay, so here we just want to make sure everything's aligned nicely, like so. So again, I'm working in folds. You can see, oopsie, you can't see. So I'm folding it so that I get that sharp edge, and that's going to make it easier for me to align everything. So it's actually a lot easier than it looks. If you just figure out the working with the folds, it is so easy to align it. It really is. So here I'm using Tombow glue. I'm just adding a little bit here. You can see again I've got a corner piece there. So I've done up and across, and I'm going to fold it like I said, working in folds like so. And then I'm going to align it nicely. So you can see I've curved it. Okay. I'm going to place that down, make sure it's all nice on cardstock. It's all lining up nicely. And then I'm pressing it down. And we're going to do that down and then across, and we'll go down again. So here, turn it so I can see. So there, working with a fold. It's just going to make it a lot easier for you to see. So what you can do is, if you are working with something like, I don't know, let's say you're doing the 3D fox, and you find that when you lift up your piece, so this is one of my little tips, if you find when you lift up your piece, so if you've done 3D cardstock, you will know what I'm talking about. You can kind of see holes in it at the folds. What you can do is you can actually take the same color cardstock that you are using, you take it and you sort of press it so that it's bent in the middle, and you stick that into the hole. So from the inside, it will actually close up that hole so that you don't get those little, I don't know what they're called, those little peeky holes. Okay, so there we are. I've aligned that. Make sure everything's aligned nicely. And then probably the trickiest part of the whole process is putting the top piece on. So here I'm going to work on a couple pieces at a time. Oopsie. So the reason I'm not putting glue all the way around is because the glue will dry before I'm done. Maybe I could try. Let's try. Let's try. We have nothing to lose. Actually we do. We have a whole class's work to lose. Oopsie. And try not to get glue all over your piece, because you will ruin it, and we obviously don't want that. So you can see I'm putting, it looks like a lot of glue, but it's not. It's just a little bit. Okay. So this is honestly the trickiest part of the whole process. You just want to line it up like so. So you're going to have to push some pieces in so that they line up nicely. And for this you might need 8 hands. So phone a friend, get someone to come help you. Oopsie, push that in a bit. So you can see I'm kind of just rubbing on the edges once I'm happy with the placement. Obviously being careful not to crush your box or your letter, if you will. So that one is being a little tricky. This one, I think we need a bit more glue here. So this is what I meant about the glue drying before you get done. It dries pretty quickly, and you obviously just don't want that. Okay, and there you have it. That's literally your letter done, assembled. And I did that super quick, or like a bit rushed. So obviously take your time with this part. But it's really easy. So Roseanne says her son's name has 5 letters. It's a 5-year project. So that is actually why I went with the name on the initial rather than the full name. So my daughter's name is Riley. That's a lot of letters. And first of all, like, where would you put all of those letters? And second of all, no, that's all I have, no. So I'm just seeing there's a little piece that didn't stick. Okay, so we're going to line this up nicely. Like so. Ta-da! And then this is going to go here. So for this, I do just want to stick it down. So I'm going to stick it down there. And I'm going to stick double-sided tape underneath the tail. So the reason I'm doing it like that is there's double-sided tape here. So I'm going to keep that part up, and I'm going to stick this to our sand. It's our sand. So there we have it. Like so. And there it is. So that is ready. Oopsie. So what I did with the other one, just a piece of advice. So what I did with the other one is I stood it up, and then I made sure that this was on the floor, like so. So this is touching the floor, and that's just going to give it a bit more stability. And there it is. Very, very cute. And so easy to make. So I do apologize for the class going over again, but I hope that it was worth it, and I hope that I'm going to see a lot of letters on the group. Maybe not a lot of letters from one person, but if each person could do at least one letter, that would be amazing. Thank you so much for joining. I hope that it was worth it, and I can't wait to do this with you again soon. Thank you so much, and have a good evening.